Hi everyone and welcome back to SGTV. So today I am joined by Neil McManus and we've actually got one of Neil's former students, Josh, who is now Director of Buckingham Electrical. You spoke earlier, I think, Neil, about the opportunities people take, and I think these two subjects almost merge, as in you got to get them communication skills to be able to grasp certain opportunities, I think, because it's fine, it's completely fine if you're happy doing whichever level you're comfortable doing. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You know, we all do it to pay the bills at the end of the day, and I know people would do it even if they weren't getting paid, maybe not as much as the people who are getting paid. But talking about opportunities, you open certain doors, you are going to be, you do need to be quite a communicative person to grasp those opportunities. And that's something I think we've both talked about previously, of almost penny drop moments. I think you spoke to me earlier, Josh, about how you weren't all that interested at college. So what was it that changed for you where you were thinking, actually, hang on, I'm onto a winner? Because you mentioned off camera how you were seeing people earning more than you were at learning. So could you tell us a bit about that?
So my sister was working at McDonald's and she was probably on about triple. Bear in mind, she's a younger sister as well.
Yeah.
So she was earning about triple what I was a day. And it was really disheartening. But then there came a time when I realised, well, actually, that's as much as she will. Obviously, she's gone on. She's not at McDonald's anymore. But that's the glass ceiling. And then through, it was just perseverance, really. Just being in the game long enough. Luckily, it was my dad who I worked under, and he kept telling me, kept hammering it in, and I was quite lucky, really, that I had him. You know, just stick with it. You know, it will come good. Everybody has it, and you won't really get it. And a lot of qualified sparks have it. They have just a eureka moment where, hang on a second, you know, things are starting to click. And when your confidence grows, that's when you are sort of spurred on then to learn more. And with that becomes more responsibility, and with more responsibility becomes more money. And there is definitely a correlation between how much you know and how much you paid. If you, it helps to be able to, you know, do the skills and whatnot, but when you, you know, how can I put it? When you show your capabilities, you know, and you're able to express that, then people are willing to pay you more. There was a few jobs, you know, that I went on, luckily because my dad sorted my rate out for me. You know, I got a decent whack, but through doing that, I was expected to be operating at a certain level. And that was a massive kick up the arse for me.
Yeah. So going back to when you were at college and you were attending college and maybe nipping over to
the counting house
to drink shandies at lunchtime,
correct,
and then turning back, you know, I can remember students saying, "Oh, I'm not getting paid this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that," and you know, they were common because, you know, to me, it's chasing the buck sort of thing. Everyone's chasing the pound note, and you come straight into a technical industry and think, well, how come he's on £30 an hour and I'm only on £2.50?
Oh, there's a lot of that, yeah.
You know, you look at what's involved in taking on an apprentice, the cost that's involved. You know, it's a day at college or a week at college each year. You've got that. You've got all the health and safeties, the insurance you've got to buy, the mothering, the caring, the training. You know, you could be on a job working and fitting out a complete rewire, but it take you maybe a day to do first fix, half a day second fix sort of thing. But now you've got this new trainee alongside you, spending time, investing time, community, showing them the proper ways. Yeah, it's going to take a week to do. So it's all that loss of earnings, which a young person doesn't always see.
No, I mean,
and you're a prime example.
Yeah. And I was thinking, well, why aren't I being paid this? Or, you know, I mean, on my apprenticeship, I was 21 and I was on £4 an hour.
Yeah.
Right? And there was guys at colleges as well who were worse than me, and they were on, you know, a lot more. But there's now, I've seen the other side of that, and all the costs I mean, there's the insurance side of it. There's all these hidden costs that when I actually sat down and did the maths on it, you think because you're getting a young lad, it's not. And there's a massive, there's the financial cost, but then there's also, a lot of people will see just the finance, but the biggest cost is then the slowing up, because you can't blitz through jobs, you lose your time. And the first year of an apprenticeship, it is very much, it's showing people how to do the right thing. It's not, you can't expect them to come in, and there's a lot of time that you have to invest in somebody.
Do you think there's some employers out there that are just taking young people on because, they say, okay, it's not, I can get this money off the government.
Yeah, because you get the grants, don't you?
Them, and I'll keep them in. If he's sweeping up, if he's doing this, making me a cup of tea.
There's lads that are brought in because part of the JIB rates, if you're offering an apprenticeship, you don't have to pay the minimum wage. I think under 18, I don't know what it is, but it's a pittance, and there's a lot of people who exploit that. And it's a shame, really, but it does go on. A lot of these, how can we put it, the high-rise flats and things like that, where it is just the same thing over and over. They can get away with it, And these people are then coming to the end of their apprenticeship without really grasping the concept of.
From the college, the training side, we teach you the basic knowledge and how we calculate and find things, scientific side of things. But when you're in the workshop, we're teaching you the basics on small environments, not in the real world. And so part of it really should be an employer taking the basic skills in developing them, and showing us all on site what to do.
I think the point when you were saying about how some employers do probably exploit young people in a way. Mm-hmm. In my honest opinion, from the amount of people I've spoke to in the industry, it does happen. I would say it's probably the minority.
Oh yeah, no, it's only I've come across it probably one or two times. It happens, but it's a very small minority.
Yeah, and it shouldn't happen. But unfortunately, it does, not just in the electrical industry, but across everything.
My question: so when I've sent apprentices out or students out for apprenticeship training, work experience, and I think that they're amazing students. At college, they're there, 100% attendance. They do what they're asked to follow. They do well in their exam stuff. But when I actually send them out to work with an employer, they don't always gel in, blend.
Different environment, though, isn't it? You think at college they're around friends, people similar age, and then when they're in the work,
comfort zone,
you're in that environment, and that's where you've got the big jump in. You've got older men, do you know what I mean, with younger lads.
So it's finding that balance in communication, and finding an interest that you're both into.
Yeah. And I think that's also the responsibility that not only the people hiring the young apprentices or people like yourself sending people out into the working environment, but also just your general men and women on site. You've got to sort of realise you've been there. Everyone's been there before. Actually just taking the time to think, hang on, this person, they're a completely different generation to me, different mindset. How can I, myself, take some responsibility for what this person is doing and try and get them involved? And I think people do a good do a good job of that, but it's something people have to be conscious of.
Yeah, 100%. You've definitely got to be mindful of it, because there's a lot of the I would say older chaps on site. They're quite, how can I put it, not bitter, but the younger generation don't have it as hard as
just
what
different, isn't it?
And so you've really got to peel back the layers to sort of win somebody over, and it's just really, you've got to gain their respect. With there being the age gap, you've got to look for common ground, but also just take it upon yourself then to maybe tidy up. I mean, if you know the process of something that somebody's doing, they're drilling a hole in the wall, you're there with the raw plugs ready. Stuff like that will show that you take an interest, and they'll then reciprocate that and give you the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you did
definitely
listen at college, Josh.
A little bit. Yeah.
it's definitely a two-way street, isn't it? Not only has the apprentice got to think ahead, what can I do to stick my neck out? It's also the person teaching's got to gain some understanding. But anyway, we're going to wrap this episode up for today. Neil and Josh, I want to thank you for coming in. And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode here at SGTV.